Yeah, so hello everyone. We're so excited to have you here. And today we have a special new member joining us to talk with Zach and Matt Camp as part of our team. He's in charge of partnerships at DealMachine. So I am going to give it over to Matt because I see Zach is joining right now too.
Perfect. Good timing. There we go. Yeah, and hope everybody's doing well tonight. Thanks for joining us again. We'll continue to let people trickle in. Awesome. I know we're getting a few people lighting up the chat, so this is great. Zach, to kind of start off, I mean, I know you're obviously a real estate investor. You're a teacher and coach through your Driving for Dollars mastery course. You're active on social. You write often. You do quite a bit around just teaching others.
Don't forget I'm TikTok famous now.
There you go, TikTok famous. Not forget that one. Yeah, so all that stuff. We've got a lot going on. To kind of give people context for our conversation, do you mind telling us a little bit more about kind of your story, how you got here today, why you got into real estate investing, a little bit more about yourself to start with?
Yeah. So I'll try and make this super quick, right? Because we want to, this isn't about me. This is about the people here and adding value to them. But I was a window washer and I was burnt out, wasn't satisfied. As far as window cleaners go, I was pretty successful. I ended up on the History Channel because of it. I mean, I washed a lot of windows, but I wasn't making very good money. And I wanted to change, and real estate seemed like the only option that I could find. And then I came across wholesaling and I was like, yep, that's what I want. And so I jumped in full bore not too many years ago. It was April 2017. I did my very first wholesale deal. And then did okay that first year. We did like 115,000 in income, or I didn't say we. And then I put together a team, learned about driving for dollars. And then DealMachine came along and changed everything around driving for dollars for me. Did $500,000. And then I got into coaching and like helping people and kind of got in the spotlight on accident. I read a self-help journal that said you had to give away what you wanted to receive. And I wanted to make $100,000 million that next year. So I had to give away $1 million. And the only way I could figure out how to do that, because I didn't have $1 million, was to teach people what I was doing. So I just started teaching, and it's changed my life. I find fulfillment in it. So now I'm wholesaling here in Utah, wholesaling in Florida, doing, 6 figures a month normally on average. And coach, that's what I do with most of my time. I have a team that runs my wholesaling gig and I coach. So that's kind of a background on me as fast as I can do it.
Yeah, love it. That'll help give people a little bit of context when they're, throwing questions in the chat and all of that too. So
cool.
I know we touched on, obviously, for the webinar tonight, we have a lot of DealMachine members or people who are, currently using DealMachine or just getting into it. I know you said you really, helped use the technology to scale your business and all that. Do you have anything there you can kind of talk about your experience there and how you kind of, scaled your driving for dollars and built a team, that type of stuff?
Yeah. So traditionally I did that $100,000 in that first 8 months and it was good. But then the first 2 months of the next year, I didn't get a lead. Everything was drying up. I felt like the lists I had were saturated and I was spending money, but wasn't getting leads. And so I was like, oh crap, I have a family to feed. I have young kids. Like, how the heck am I going to do this? My wife wasn't working, so it was just me. And so I heard about driving for dollars, right? Watched a YouTube video on it, but traditional driving for dollars at that time was you drive around, you write down the addresses, look them up on county records, and it took forever and ever to build a list of any size. And so I started doing it anyways. And I got leads. Like the first 70 houses I tagged, I did a deal. I was like, holy crap, I can do this, right? I can do this. And so I created this whole team of people that were driving. I did this dinner and event and explained what I was doing. I had 15, 20 people show up, and I was recruiting drivers and working my ass off to get a list of 500 people, 250 houses per week, right? Mm-hmm. Then I found out about DealMachine, and it got rid of the need for a team. Now I have one driver that adds 2,000 properties to my marketing list every single week, and he drives 20 hours, right? Like
Yeah.
it just changed everything. The speed, you could scale it. It became a way I could build a business. That's how I did that 500,000, right? And then perfecting the system by coaching people and helping people, like getting questions and learning. That's when I was able to perfect my system and do 1.2 million the next year from driving from dollars. It wasn't like I added more marketing. It was just I just perfected driving for dollars. That's how I changed where I was at.
Love
So
that.
DealMachine is like definitely a center of what changed wholesaling for me.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned you have the one person, driving, is it 20 hours a week then you said?
Just real quick, David, it's Zack. Zack is my first name, not Zach. So
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, you're fine. No, I was saying, whenever that first driver or that driver you have currently, did you say it's 20 hours per week they're driving?
Yeah, to about 20 hours a week. Cause that same driver, his name's Miguel. There's videos on my YouTube video of him. I actually went with the drive with him and we got pulled over by the cops. It's a great fun video. But he actually also sends all my postcards and buys all the phone numbers and exports all the info. Yeah. So he manages my marketing, right? He's a rock star. I knew him when I lived in Brazil, and he moved here and met a girl, got married, and now he works with me. I love the kid. He's an amazing kid. So yeah, so I have a driver that drives 20 hours a week, adds 2,000 properties, does all the marketing for me. He manages my CRM system. So you don't need this giant freaking team to do a ton. And then I've got one acquisition manager here in Utah. That's my team in Utah. I guess I have a couple cold callers as well. And then in Florida, I have an acquisition manager and a driver. So.
Nice. Yeah. And I know a fair number of people on here today are probably, either have a small driving team or they're looking to hire a driver. They're just trying to, get into that and really scale it up. Do you have any tips there on how you've been able to kind of, train, manage, incentivize drivers, that kind of thing?
Yeah. So when I first started, biggest mistake I made is paying commissions. Don't do that. Don't. Because the number one thing you need is consistency. You need consistency from your drivers. So we pay hourly. Okay. So pay hourly. And then also you got to find the right people, right? I had some of my one-on-one clients out. We went fishing and had a great time 2 weekends ago. And one of them said, "Hey, Zach, I just can't find anybody that cares about my business like I do. I just have to do everything myself." And I was like, "Hey, hold on a minute." I was like, "That's a limiting belief. That's not true." Right? You need to change your thought process. You need to figure out how to find someone that cares about your business as much as you do and loves their position. And so you need to find someone that has the core values, right, that you need them to have, but also has the personality type that works. So in my course, I go through all of it, but you can give you some tips here. I'm gonna give you some value. I don't want to just be like, "Hey, my course. It's not the point." There's a DISC test. It's DISC test. I like the Tony Robbins one. It's pretty simple and straightforward, but you need a high S and a high C. So when you do the test for yourself and you'll see what that means. S and C really make someone a little more organized. If they have middle range S, middle range C with a higher D, that is what I found is a great driver, a very systematic person. They like stability, they like systems, but they also have that personality to be self-motivated. And so that's one of the things you need to find in someone. And then also they have the core values, right? So I teach my students to make sure you write core values that you expect from everyone within your business. So like some of mine are no excuses. I can't stand excuses. I don't put up with it. And the great thing is I find people that have the same feelings towards excuses, right? And so whenever we bring someone into our business or we make a hire, and I'm to the point I'm not even hiring and managing and training my employees within the business, right? Mm-hmm. The cool part about this is they all have my same core values. So whenever we bring someone in that's not a fit, they go, "Zach, this person's got to go. Get rid of them, please." I was like, "Okay." Right. So if you build a tribe of people that have those same core values, that's how you build a business that serves you and not a business that you serve. Mm-hmm. So building a team is definitely is the next step. It's the art, right, of owning a business.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely seen like the disc assessment, and then like predictive index is another pretty common one that people take that I think could have a similar approach in terms of
Yeah.
aligning yourself with the right values. And then even whenever you talk about paying drivers too, yeah, probably for us, like the most common thing that we see is hourly. And then if you're going to pay commission, what we've seen most is paying per qualified lead, right? Rather than closed contract. So, per lead, that if you go in there and approve it and say, hey, through your DealMachine app, I'm going to send, mail, and it looks like a good lead to actually market to. I think that could be potentially a good metric, but yeah, the, commission per closed deal, you're probably not going to get too many people consistently committing to have to work towards that.
Yeah, you just when I did commissions, you either overpaid, you got someone that did really well. Like I calculated, I was paying 20% commissions to find a deal when I first started. That first 6 months of doing that, I overpaid by $70,000 to my drivers compared to paying someone $20 an hour, $100 a deal plus paying for their gas.
Wow.
Okay. So not only is it more expensive, it's more expensive because you don't have consistent leads, because you have ups and downs, a lot of addresses, no addresses, a lot of addresses, no addresses. So I've tested it. I've tested all the different variations, right? I have over 90,000 different houses on my database that I've tagged, and some of these properties I've tagged multiple times. I redrive my entire market every 6 months. And so like driving for dollars is what we do. That's how we make our money.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. And that's something too, like, I think we've really tried to focus on designing the technology to support that too, of like you said, every 6 months. I mean, if you're route tracking through DealMachine, you'll see that change color where it's green initially, and then at 6 months it turns yellow. So you'll know like, hey, it's been a while since we drove this neighborhood, or if it's red, it's been over a year. So, can you kind of use that feature to help guide
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love that feature. I'm glad you brought that up, because the cool thing is, like, I met David Lecco and Josh, right? Mm-hmm. Who's a major part of your guys' business. I love both those people. Great human beings. You guys have a great company, by the way, and great people.
I agree.
You really do. So when I spoke in an event in October. This is kind of like my first introduction to like actually presenting and talking to people and helping people. And I got the invitation from Tom Kroll, who's kind of the head coach of Wholesaling Inc. And I love that guy. That guy helped me. He was kind of my original mentor. I still pay him quite a bit. He actually just texted me 4 minutes ago. But Tom invited me to speak, right? He saw the success I was having. This was in October of 2018. I spoke in Asheville, North Carolina at the Wholesaling Inc. Summit. And that's when I got to meet David and Josh, and we sat down and we were talking about the app and, some of the updates and things that they could perfect. And since then, you guys have added so many upgrades and things. And one of those is the route tracking. And I remember that was like one of the things that I told him. I was like, bro, because when we first started, it didn't have that, right? So we had to create our own. And so I hired this tech person to build me a master sheet, a master map. So like my guys were going from the master map with all the pinned houses that we had to the app, and like going back and forth, and like, we were struggling. We were helping pioneer what the app's become. And so that was actually one of the updates I was asking for. That thing's huge. That update saves us a lot of time and frustration.
Yeah, I think we really try to take pride in our team listening to feedback from people like yourself and everybody in the community here today. That really says like, here's what I need next. Here's what's going to bring me more value, and really focus on doing that to really kind of guide the future and make sure, like, a lot of times it is people like yourself where they're duct taping together some solution, and maybe they're hiring a developer. They're doing, they're having to become a tech company when they're a real estate investor.
Exactly.
So our goal was like, how do we help give you the technology to really enable you to be more successful? And that's why, that's even why we love aligning ourselves with people like yourself, Zach, who are giving world-class training, because now, if we know that if you're speaking to people, that are really ready to take action and really investing in their own knowledge, and, they're listening to webinars like this, that's right. We know those are the people that we can really help, because they're ready to take action. And we're, a technology, they can't just hand them success. Like, they got to go take it. But, our goal is to make it as much easier, efficient, and more effective, using technology.
Yeah. 100%. That funny, probably nobody knows this, but just before I met David Lecco and I found out about DealMachine and that kind of thing, I had put a $50,000 deposit down to a developer. I was paying a developer to build a Driving for Dollars app.
Yeah.
And then I found out about DealMachine. I was like, can I get my money back,
Okay.
please? Please, please. And I got all of it, but $5,000 back. Right. But it was like, I didn't want to build a tech company. I hate tech. I'm so horrible with tech. I'm so bad with tech. When people ask me like, hey, Zach, I've got an issue with the DealMachine app. I was like, well, thank God their customer support is amazing, because you should not be asking me, I promise. So it's, yeah, I'm glad that you guys came around, because I would have a really shitty app if I didn't find out about you guys.
So we're here. There we go.
Yeah.
Elise, I know I don't want to go too long without getting into the chat. Do you want to, I don't know if you have any Q&A lined up for us here as well?
I think Hannah is got a list of people. So just so you guys know, if I'm not answering your questions, it's because I think Zach is going to give you a really great response. So that's why. Also, I just wanted to let you know, Zach, I actually interviewed one of your students today out of the blue. And I was just like, so how'd you get started with DealMachine? And he's like, well, I took Zack Boothe's course. And I was like, funny, he's on our webinar tonight. So I want you to know that you're a part of that, and he like plugged you and everything. And so just thank you for helping people.
100%. Can I share a story? I want to share a story. So I signed up a kid 2 days ago. Okay. If I cry, I'm going to try not to. This is why I coach. Okay. This is why I coach. This is a perfect example. So signed this kid up. And whenever I onboard someone, I don't take anybody as a student, right? So I'm doing this onboarding call. I was like, what's your situation? He's like, well, I got to provide for my family. It's like, you're 18, you have kids? He's like, no, my dad's got some stuff. I don't want to talk about it. And I have to provide for my mom and him and the 5 kids. He's the oldest. And I'm just like, what does that mean? Like, what do you pay for? He's like, well, I pay the mortgage. I pay, they sold their car, so I gave them my car. And I buy food. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, how much is his mortgage? Is like $3,000. Like, it's like, how are you paying for this? He's like, a year ago, I started an Amazon business, and I'm paying for it with that. And I took a sales job to get more sales experience. The kid was just so well spoken. I was like, holy hell, like, this kid's amazing. Right. So I heard his story. I was like, okay, let's sign you up. I signed him up in the evening 2 days ago. Yesterday, he texts me. And he said, Zach, I got a contract. They said they're going to sign it in an hour. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I stayed up till 4 a.m. going through your course and implementing the steps. This morning, since I don't have a car, I did virtual driving for dollars, right? And he's like, I've been cold calling while doing virtual driving for dollars. He's like, I got a lead. I followed your negotiation script. I've got the contract. I'm pretty sure it's at a really good price. So I went through the calculations. We pulled ARV, did the calculations. He's going to make probably $30,000 to $35,000.
Wow.
Dude, I started sobbing. It's like,
yeah, that's nuts.
Dude, it's the most amazing thing ever, because most people don't know this, but I was homeless for a time. And, money's great. Money's great. It's a tool. It's not everything, but I know there's a lot of people that struggle, right? There's a lot of people that don't have. And for me to have the ability to, yes, make money and provide for my family means the world to me. But what means more than doing some deals for myself is like, yes, now I'm stable, I'm great, I'm comfortable, but then finding a purpose and something I can hang my hat on, right? And like, you guys need to realize you are a part of that story too. Like, you guys are a part of that story. He used your guys' technology. So that's why I shared that story. Like there's lives that we're changing because of what we're doing. 100%.
That's beautiful. And thank you for sharing that. And make sure he reaches out. I want to have him be on our YouTube channel.
Oh, he's going to be everywhere. He's going to be everywhere. Yeah, we're getting a cash buyer lined up and everything else. So we're working on it.
All right, Hannah, it looks like you have someone on.
Wow. Anything we can do to help?
Delaney, are you there?
Tough to follow that up.
Oh, yes. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, and we got you.
Okay. Do I have to turn my camera on?
No, go ahead. Whatever you're
Okay.
comfortable with.
Okay. Hold on. Can't really hear you. Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm sorry. Were you answering my question?
Yeah, you can go ahead and ask your question there, Delaney.
Okay, sorry, it cut out. Oh yeah, so I've been looking into wholesaling for about a month now, and I just really haven't like took the last step. Like I haven't really made any cold calls, and I was just like wondering like what is the like I have a spreadsheet of distressed properties, of their phone numbers. Like I have everything set up and ready for me, but I just don't know like how to start it basically.
Zach, do you want to jump in there in terms of cold calls?
Sure. So you want a cold call then, Delaney?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And why do you want a cold call?
Well, I work a 9 to 5 right now, and I pretty much cold call people all day, so I'm kind of used to it. And I just feel like that's the easiest way to reach out to people rather than mail or, other ways.
Okay. What, have you set up your cold calling platform? Or are you trying to figure out how to do that?
No, I have not set up the platform yet.
Okay. So my students have access to my cold calling course, but I'm going to try and walk you through this. It's quite a bit to just answer how to set up a cold calling platform, but I'm going to do my best. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So do you have a pen and paper?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Be taking notes. This is going to be a lot. So you're going to get mojosales.com. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to sign up for them. You want to set it up. They have customer support. It's not great, but they can kind of help walk you through this if you struggle. If you're not techie like me, this might be a little bit harder. You're going to set it. You want to get it signed up where you have a triple line dialer. So you're going to be calling through 3 people at one time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The sets that you want to have on there is you want to do 6 rings, right? Before it moves on to the next number. We don't do ringless voicemail drops. You want to set up you want to have a phone number in there, like a tracking phone number that you upload in there that when they call back, I have it go directly to voicemail, and I set up the voicemail message to say, hey, you're probably calling me because I called you. I was calling you about a house. Just to see if you wanted to sell it. We just did a deal in Florida. We're going to make about $18,000 from someone that called our number back, listened to the voicemail, and we got paid. Okay. So you want to have that voicemail set up like that. That deal's like 2 weeks ago. We signed it. I think we assigned it this week. Anyways. So you're going to set that up. We try and reach out to people 4 different times. So we ring through their phone number 4 different times, and then we spit them out. In our system, we do texting, cold calling, and postcards to the one list. But that's how we set up our cold calling. Do you have any more questions around that?
No, you said the website was mojosales.com.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And there is options for doing voicemail drops at the end of the attempts. I don't do that. I've tried it. I've left thousands of voicemails. I've done ringless voicemails drops before. I've never done a deal from it. It works, but I just haven't been able to get it to work in my market. So I don't do that, but that is an option. What market are you in?
That I have not looked into yet because I'm kind of on the border of Kentucky and Indiana.
Okay.
So
if I was you, I would leave voicemails. Your market, your price per property, right? Your cost per lead is much lower than my market, right? Your average deal size will be lower, but your cost per deal is going to be a lot less too. So I would leave a voicemail.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're
Delaney,
very welcome.
Really quick here too. Did you say, are you already in the DealMachine app? Like, is that how you're compiling your list as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have the DealMachine app.
Okay, great. Yeah, I don't know if you've tried like actually skip tracing or anything like that in there. That could be kind of a low barrier way to at least get started. Just because whenever you do enter a deal within DealMachine, you can, right within that property, hit skip trace and get their number and email that way. So that way, as you like Zach was saying, I mean, a dialer like that's going to help you scale it and do it at a much broader scale. But to get
It's
that
expensive.
down,
It is
yeah,
expensive.
there you go. So this could be a good intermediary step as well as like, hey, just start cold calling through that and use the skip trace feature. And I believe if you're on our basic plan, it's 17 cents to skip trace. So make sure you have your marketing budget in mind for it as well. But we want to make it easy for you to at least kind of like make that initial contact and start doing those one-to-one conversations.
Okay, thank you so much. I got you.
Yeah, happy to help. All right. Here we go. Charles, good to meet you.
Well, good evening. How's everybody?
Doing well. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from California.
Nice. Well, thanks for jumping in.
Quick question, Zach. Zach, that was very motivating in terms of, and very holistic in terms of that opportunity that you did provide to that one student. That's freaking amazing, dude. Hats off to you for what you've done. And secondly, I just started using the app this week.
Okay.
I've done some JV partnering in the past, some subject to, some seller financing, but now I'm trying to switch more on my own. And I'm driving for dollars is ready to start doing it. Based on the list, do you download the list and then do you upload it into anything such as batch leads and then do mass text messaging or mass calling from that platform?
Yeah, great question. So I currently skip with batch skip tracing, but there is skip tracing available in the DealMachine app as well. And then I'm currently using Lead Sherpa for texting, but we're looking to change. It's pretty expensive. They charge, I'm sending, tens of thousands of texts a month. I mean, tens of thousands. I don't even know how many, to be honest. I do, but I don't know it off the top of my head. Those are the two platforms. I hope that answers that question.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say Charles, I mean, like Zach mentioned, I mean, you can do the skip tracing within DealMachine. We're not doing like the mass text outreach or ringless voicemail or anything like that. Like I think our main sweet spot would be the skip tracing. So you could call and email if we have, those options. And then the mailers are kind of the main tool for automation and to help you kind of scale what you're doing there. So anything in that realm, I would say would be easy to do within the app. We've designed it that way. But if you're looking at other marketing channels, then yeah, you can export from that perspective.
And I forgot to ask this. Have you noticed any change in terms of the mailers that you've been sending out, especially during the election time when we're getting so much inundated with mail? Has that affected your business, or did you pivot in a different marketing way?
There's ups and downs.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. There's ups and downs every month, right? Like I have my KPIs. I have all my different marketing lists. I've broken my driving for dollars list into 3 different campaigns. I have the owner occupied, the absentee owner, and the corporate owned, right? And I send text messages, cold calling, and postcards to all 3 of those, right? And I have different tracking numbers, different phone numbers. So if I generate a lead or someone calls, I know exactly where it came from. It came from absentee owner, driving for dollars, postcards. Right? I know exactly where my leads are generated from. And it's funny. The second quarter of the month or the second quarter of the year, I made like $280,000 off postcards. The third quarter, I made like 15 grand off postcards. But overall, the big picture of it, I make a lot of money, right? I spend anywhere between 12 cents to 20 cents to make $1. And it doesn't matter if I'm texting, if I'm cold calling, or if I'm using postcards to the driving for dollars list.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. And Charles, I would say, yeah, sorry to cut you off there. I would say as well, really quick, the postcard, really strategy in general, it is like Zach said, it's a long-term strategy. Like it is something that you need consistency, and the more you're putting someone on a campaign where they have 5, 6, 7, 8 touch points from you, the much higher chance that they're going to actually get back to you, just because that initial cold call, like you'll know right away, like if they what the result of that call is, and be able to easily see that ROI. Whereas a mailer like that, it's going to take a little bit of time, and they might get that first postcard from you, stick it on their fridge, and then 6 months later be ready to actually make a decision on reaching back out to you or be ready to sell. So the goal with those postcards is like, yeah, you might have ups and downs. There might be a blip this week because of the USPS is crazy right now, obviously, but even in general, the goal behind it is to think long term and consistently stay top of mind with these people, so that way when you are ready, or when they are ready, they'll reach out.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. That helped. Thank you.
For sure.
Sure.
Hey, Charles. I know you said you're in California. I know it's really inspiring when we hear success stories from people from our own markets. There's a guy named Aaron Gaunt, Aaron Gaunt, Gaunt. So he was. Is he the one that was interviewed by chance? Was he really? That's so funny, dude. I love Aaron Gaunt. So Aaron was a fireman, right? And I think he made like the first few months, I could be off. Like I don't remember every single like dollar amounts, but I think he made like 80 grand in the first few months.
He made that off of one deal. I was
there we go.
shook. And he does 3 a month now.
Yeah, he's crushing it. He came out and fished with me and his girlfriend Michaela a couple weekends ago. Like they're crushing it. He was, a fireman. Like so many people say, "Oh, California's too competitive." It's like that's stupidity. Like that's just an excuse to not try, right?
Sure.
So like he's crushing it. You could even reach out to him. He's an open book. He's an amazing human being. I love the guy. So he's crushing it. And it's pretty much all through driving for dollars.
Amazing. Thank you.
You said it's 80 grand in the first deal. So Scott Dallinger, I don't know if you guys know Scott Dallinger, but he actually holds the record for the biggest wholesale deal. He made $113,000 on his first driving for dollars wholesale deal with me. And he's in Portland, Oregon, another market that's too competitive to wholesale, right? So
amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, my first wholesale was a door knock, pre-foreclosure, and that was 102.
Sheesh, dude, I've never done a wholesale like that. But 102, that's crazy. Congratulations, dude. That's huge.
Yeah, a year ago, but no, definitely reach out. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Great. I think we have Steve on here next.
Hey, Steve.
Hi there. Did you say you did 2,000 leads a day through DealMachine?
Week. 2,000 a week.
Right. Yep. Well, either we're driving way too slow or we're way too selective on who we do. So what criteria are you looking for? We're kind of looking for ugly houses. So we can drive half a day and maybe only get 30 or so. What are we doing wrong?
Well, a big number difference, right? So yeah. Let's talk about this. And that's a fantastic question. That was one of the biggest. I'm gonna give you a backstory on this. I was just tagging very ugly houses in the very beginning. And then I drove my entire market really fast. And I was like, oh crap, what do I do now? And so I was like, well, why don't we test and just tag properties that have any physical signs of neglect? And it changed my business completely. So remember I said there was that YouTube video where I went for a drive with my driver. We actually, show what we look for. And there's also a link to get access to my driving for dollars criteria. So you can get that exact criteria for free in that YouTube video in the show notes. Okay. It's called, I think the YouTube video is like driving for dollars criteria is what it's called on my YouTube channel. But let me explain this, the reason behind this. Okay. Cause most people think, oh, I've heard people call them things like super turds, like just silly stuff, right? The really bad rundown boarded up houses. But what we're trying to do is wholesalers, as investors, is we're trying to find people that have a house that's a thorn in their side, right? And when someone doesn't take care of general maintenance on the house, they don't necessarily love the house. If the property is a thorn in their side, they don't want to go mow the lawn. They let the grass die. They don't fix the piece of siding that blew off. If there's a cracked piece of glass, they put some duct tape on it instead of fix it, right? And so you're trying to find any physical signs of neglect, because that is potentially a property that's a thorn in the owner's side, right? And so we'll show up to properties and we'll be like, man, this property is actually pretty good, but you notice there's some peeling paint on the fascia and soffit. You're like, okay, that's why I got tagged, right? So any physical signs of neglect.
Yeah. Just to add to that, I know Josh Johnson, our VP, he actually, his first deal he said he did in Raleigh, the main sign of neglect in this case was they had Halloween decorations up, and it was like February.
Yep.
So it was, they blew through 2 major holidays and hadn't switched decorations. Like, there might be creative signs like that say like, hey, this property, is a thorn in their side, like you said.
Well, is this an excuse to get a Maserati so I can go a little faster? I don't think so.
The secret to negotiating with your wife is you can't let her in on the little secret that you have.
Oh yeah, I just let that out of the bag, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So you have the YouTube how to get it?
Yeah, I don't. I copied a couple links.
It's in the show notes there, or in the chat box. It looks like the link was put there.
Yeah, there were several. Which one are you talking about?
The one that just popped up.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You see, it says Zach's D4D cheat sheet video. There's a link there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Is that Jorge?
This is amazing. I just say, hey, there's this video, and then like links pop up. We've got a wizard on the
right?
call.
They're magic back there. Yeah.
Magic.
Hey.
Sorry about that, guys.
All right.
Good afternoon to you guys. I'm in Long Beach, California.
Love it.
Good to have you guys. Good to meet you finally, Zach. Been watching you for a bit.
Cool.
Inspiring, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for being here, George. George, right?
Question, I go by George, yes, or Jorge.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Sorry. It says George on your tag there. So.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The question is, matter of fact, the crew, the awesome crew from DealMachine, always helps me. Last time they helped me with, I'm driving around. I try to do it at least 3 to 4 times per week for at least an hour. I can average sometimes about up to 300 leads a week, which I love. Of course, driving around LA County, South LA County. I stick to South LA County. Is there a different way that you like to process owner-occupied leads versus absentee owner leads? Because mind you, we are looking for the distressed property. So to me, when I find a distressed property, and mind you, we have tons of it out here in Los Angeles. So A, the property is a little beat up. Sometimes it's practically falling apart. And now there's an absentee owner attached to it. What's your process?
I'm going to explain why I separate my list between absentee and primary residence and corporate owned, right?
Okay.
Is because I have students that ask me questions all the time, right? And one of the questions that I kept getting over and over and over was, Zach, should we quit marketing to corporate owned properties? And I want data, not drama, right? This is what my mentor taught me. And so I was like, well, I guess I now have a responsibility to educate my students. I have to educate myself. This is what's made me so successful, mainly is coaching, because I have to do these things to give good advice. And so I have, for the last 8 months, I have been testing absentee owner, corporate owned, all those kinds of things. I have roughly a 70% of the properties we tag, about 70% of the properties are primary residents here in Utah. My Florida market, like half or less are primary residents. So it's a lot higher absentee owner or corporate owned properties in Florida. Part of that is just our culture here in Utah. We're like the culture's different. Like you can't even find a restaurant where you can pay more than $20-$30. We're all a bunch of frugal, like conservative crazies, right? Wow. And so that's every market.
That's a gallon of gas here in my neighborhood.
Right. Exactly. And that's what I mean. Like I'll go to Florida on vacation and it's like, I go to get a nice seafood dinner and it's like $100 a plate. And I was like, holy shit, you couldn't find a restaurant in Utah like this, like we'll go get like all you can eat Rodizio grill, like Brazilian barbecue. And you pay like $17 per person.
Wow.
It's just silly. Right. Anyway, so every market's going to have your differences. Every market, people respond differently. I know most people will say, absentee owner is the best. That's the most deals you're going to find. In my market, that's not the case. In Florida, that is the case. And so I'm testing what's working, what's not working. The biggest thing that matters, like you said, if they have physical signs of distress, market to it. I've had people say, well, Zach, why don't you filter and only market to people that have owned the house for at least 5 years? Why don't you do this filter? Why don't you only market to people that have equity? Why don't you only do this and this and this and filter your driving for dollars list? Well, the reason is I've done deals where flippers get upside down. They've only owned them for 6 months. And we saw that it was in disarray. We sent a postcard and boom, we made money. Right?
Okay.
And we've worked with, they're not huge deals, but we usually make money on them. And so any physical signs of neglect, tag it, especially if you're just trying to get going. Don't over analyze, don't overcomplicate the process.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right
and
on.
Zach, I think key to what you're saying there too is the data piece of it. It's like, hey, you're not going to know until you experiment and start to collect that data. And that was our goal within the DealMachine app, as well, as to really help you kind of reverse engineer what's working. And when you do get those contracts signed and those deals won, and you go back and see, how did I get in touch with this person? What was the type of house it was? How did I tag it? Like, what did I see on the house? Like, why? Just kind of reverse engineer and see what worked, and try to experiment to find that formula and do more of what's working.
Right on.
Great.
But by the way, if I might just say one more last thing and compliment the crazy DealMachine crew. They helped me about 2 weeks ago with, I think, again, the question was, how do I separate the really ugly houses from the usual driving around houses? Last week, I picked up 3 warm leads. This week, I picked up 2. So at least there's 5 that are like, okay, let me think about it. So we're rolling with them now. Hopefully they break through. But yeah, ever since that slight adjustment, it's been really cool actually for about 2 weeks now. So very happy with it.
Nice. Good work.
Cool. Right on. Well, thank you guys. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, we're bringing Nick on next.
Here we go. Nick, can you hear us?
I am getting there.
Hey, there we go. Good to meet you. Thanks for jumping on.
Hey, you're welcome. How's it going tonight? It's great to meet you, Zach.
Nice to meet you too, man. That's quite the office you got behind you.
Yeah, I just put it on. I just built it right this second. Did you
Rotate.
Love.
Always a lot of stuff going on. Zach, I've watched you a bunch, and I've never pulled the trigger on doing your program, except for tonight. Now, after hearing that story you told about that 18-year-old kid,
yeah,
showed a little bit of your heart, man, and that was sweet. So I'm definitely gonna have to chat with you here soon.
Well, go book a call. Yeah, there's a form you got to fill out, and I'm looking forward to talking to you as well. And
thanks.
It's kind of funny because just like anything in life, the more we give, the more we receive, right? And I've been giving my heart and soul for over a year, 2 years. It'll be 2 years that I signed up my first student. My very first student was Michael McLeish. And I just interviewed him again, but he posted, if you go to his Facebook feed, he just posted that he's now made over $1 million in wholesaling. And so he was my first student, and that was 2 years ago, November. And I see posts like that. I'm a big crier. My wife makes fun of me all the time, but like I see this stuff, and it gives me so much fulfillment, so much fulfillment. And like I talk about this to my friends and stuff, like that first deal where I made 10 grand and I wholesaled it, and like I was like, wow, proof of concept. Wow, I can feed my kids. I can feed my wife. Like my wife can stay home with the kids, like mission accomplished. And then the second deal was awesome. And then the third deal was really cool. And then the fourth deal was work. And then the fifth deal sucked. And the sixth deal, I don't remember.
Right on.
Right. But every student that does their first deal, like it's like doing my first deal all over again. It's amazing.
Right. Sweet. Well, I'm going to have to be probably in your, intermediate to advanced class. So we're doing deals. Love DealMachine. It's our primary thing. So when you say you're cold calling, are you using a VA or are you using Somebody here in the States?
In-house team. I tried call motivated sellers. Now some markets you can get away with it, like Indianapolis, some of your lower end markets where your price per deal is a lot lower, you can get away with VAs and foreign speaking people. I know there's a lot of Filipinos that do it, that
Yep.
it works for some people, but my market we're a bunch of conservatives, remember, that are cheap and skeptical and all that. And so,
Yep.
we got to have straight salesmen on the phone here in my market. And so it's all in-house, and there's a lot of vigorous training and tactics and stuff. I mean, they're all reading Chris Voss, never split the difference. I mean, so I like it all in-house.
Okay.
Yep.
And when you just define for me, when you say high price, low price, so what?
Yeah. So it works
Indy,
like
Indy,
this.
I understand as well. What are your average ARVs going for on the deals you're doing in your market?
Yeah. So my average is about 30 grand per deal. Right. And
what kind of ARV are you looking at?
Gotcha. About 300,000. Okay.
That's where we play.
Perfect. So I talk about this a lot because everyone wants to know, how much can I make? What's my average deal? How much do I have to spend to do a deal? Right. Those are the most common questions. And so when I say, oh, it's Indianapolis, it's price per deal's less, I can immediately know that, because a house that's worth $100,000 fully remodeled, you're not going to get a $90,000 assignment fee. There's just no meat on the bone for that to happen. But in California, house worth $500,000, $600,000 fixed up, yeah, you can squeeze some of these bigger deals out. But it also makes it more expensive to find a deal. You have to dump more money, more time into finding those deals.
Yep. So tell me a little bit more. You ran by it quick, and I made some quick notes, but on how you're paying your drivers. I started out trying, commissions. That didn't work. Went to trying to pay them, and I have hired some. I'm having trouble keeping them though, and finding just motivated folks that all actually work.
Yeah, that's one of the number one things I teach. Right, I mentioned it a little earlier on this call. Building a culture, right? Like I don't hire and fire people anymore. Like I'm 100% a coach. That's what I do. I look at my KPIs and I sit in on my team meetings. I don't even run my team meetings for my wholesaling business. Right? I got a call from my lady today that does all my wires, and she says, Zach, I need you to approve this wire. Can you sign the DocuSign? I was like, what's the wire for? She's like, oh, you've got an earnest money check that needs to go to Florida. I was like, oh, okay. I had no idea we even got a contract in Florida, right? And so to be able to build that, you have to have a culture. You have to have, this little tribe that's just so excited about what they're doing, and everyone buys into that vision. And so that's one of the main things that I teach in the course around building that marketing system out.
Okay.
So that's in the course.
Yep.
And did you say $20 an hour, $100 a deal, and pay for their gas?
Yeah, if they hit their goal, they get the gas. Yep.
Got it. Goal of properties per hour or whatever it is.
Yeah. So we figure out what your average properties per hour is. Most people should be hitting close to 100 properties an hour. Like really, you should if you're doing it right. And then you don't. Most people, they're not going to want to market to a list that size. Right, where they're 40 hours, that's 40,000 or 4,000 properties a week if you have someone full time doing it right. So it's just, you don't need a giant team, but you need someone that buys into the vision, that loves you, loves the business, loves the purpose, loves the mission. Right.
Yep. I have one guy who kind of flops in and out of that. When he's working, he kills it. And like this week, I haven't seen him now. So
that's
okay,
not a fit, right?
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't help you.
It is what it is. All right. Well, I won't keep you on here and I'm sure there are other people that have less experience. I want to ask them a bunch more questions, but I'll sign up for a call and we'll talk soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good, brother.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Really quick here. Just want to throw in one last.
Hi, Elise.
Wanted to throw in one last tip as well. If you do actually look to recruit, a fair number of drivers in the future, or like have some more part-time people, our enterprise level, like we actually have a few things within that help you, recruit and do that type of stuff. So I don't know if you're doing that already, but okay, cool. Already you're ahead of me. So perfect.
Yep. And they're done that. And I had phenomenal results.
Okay.
Got people, and I think probably by way of not having done this yet, but what I think will be the right tip for folks is really to treat it like a job. I mean, just to be telling people, look, this is what I need you to do. And if you can do this, we can talk. And if you can't, then I don't need 500 people on my list of drivers that are all driving, an hour a month. It's just not worth it. So, but thanks, Matt.
Yes.
I am an enterprise. I followed the system exactly. I actually was, Lisa's had me on here before. Followed the system exactly. Had great results. I think it's more a mental thing for me. So,
okay. Great.
Change my attitude. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Hannah. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Nick. Talk to you soon.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
All right. Kristen, can you hear us? Hopefully.
Oh,
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Where are you calling from?
I'm in Pasadena, California.
Nice. A lot of California people today. There we go.
yeah, lots.
Awesome.
How are you doing?
Great. Yeah. Doing well. Appreciate you calling in.
Thank you so much. I have a question before my question. Can I start there?
Go for it.
Okay, Zach, who did you say you use for skip tracing and not DealMachine?
Yeah, I use batch skip tracing.
Got it. My other question, I tend to be a little bit of a workaholic, and I'm just curious with the results that you're talking about, how much time a week do you work in your business and on your business?
On my wholesaling business, 4 hours a week max.
Do you run other businesses?
My coaching business, yeah. So my coaching business is blowing up. I'm creating 3 YouTube videos a week, 20 TikToks. I'm starting a podcast, just hire someone to run it. I've got the MBA that's going to help me kind of run it and manage it. You're going to be my CEO at some point. He's managing my social media team. So I have a girl that does my TikTok, someone does my YouTube, and runs the advertisement agency and website department, and all that's out of Brazil. So I speak Portuguese and I can get it for like a fifth of the price down there. So we're running a lot of this out of the country. And then I have a girl in Barbados that does all my funnel stuff, and I'm servicing all the calls right now. I'm trying to build a sales team to manage all the onboarding calls and making sure we're bringing in people that are a fit. But yeah, I work my ass off. In the coaching business, but that fulfills me. That's why I'm working there. That's why I was like, okay, how do I structure my wholesaling business so it serves me and serves my life and serves my purpose? I want my legacy that, so I should go grab the book. There's a book that talks about like letting your light shine. So it gives other people the permission to go for their dreams. Right. And so my focus and purpose behind this is to give people permission, and not that you need my permission, but like when someone else has success, when you hear a story of success, right? Some people get all weird and say that's not true, like, and they try and tear down people, right? They want to tear down a building so their building's taller instead of be inspired to build a bigger building, right? And so my goal is to find those people and inspire them to go for their dreams and give them the tools as well. And so that's what I spend my time on. But in regards to like getting started in wholesaling, like walking away from a day job, because I was having to get into, wholesaling out of window washing, and I'm kind of stupid because I just completely walked away from it with only like a couple months to make it happen, or ask my dad for money or something. and I was able to make it work because I had to. But what I suggest to people that I bring on, I won't coach anybody unless they're willing to dedicate at least 15 hours a week to this, like full blown 15 hours a week. So as far as time, that's what I would suggest.
Well, thank you so much. What a portrait. My phone is actually getting hot. I can feel it. You're working a lot. You're doing it right. Very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Kristen, on the on the skip tracing side, if we can give you any tips, let us know. I know we really tried to build it to make it easy that if you're already driving for dollars, then here's the next step to get in touch with people. So hopefully that helps. But
I love it so far. I'm just on the demo version, but I'm really impressed, and I'm here.
Awesome.
So thank you. Thanks for all you guys do.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks. Perfect. Do we want to do one more, or is that? Yeah. All right. There we go. I know we're running out of time here, but. Oh. Richard, hopefully we have you here. Can you hear us, Richard? Maybe. Technical difficulties. Yeah. Oh. Oh, there we go. Nice. Hey, Richard. Oh. We don't have your sound for whatever reason.
No
The mic.
audio. Nothing. No audio.
Not that good of a lip reader either, so.
I can ask Richard's question. I have it here. So
Okay.
basically his question was, does Zack have a general minimum in an area on what he'll chase? And that's really it. And he said, we've had lots of leads where we just couldn't find a buyer at any price. So Zack, would you be able to talk on that a little bit more?
Get a bigger cash buyers list. Get a bigger cash buyers list. So it's easier said than done, right? So when I opened up Florida, it took me 3 weeks to build a cash buyers list of 6,000 people. And then the way I do that is I trade lists. I basically broker a trade. So what I do is I call up all the wholesalers in the area and I say, hey, would you like to increase your cash buyers list so you can make more per deal and move deals that you may not be able to in certain circumstances without that larger list? And if they're smart, they say, yes, I would love to do that. It's like, oh, fantastic. Perfect. Well, I'll count you in. So I'm getting everyone around the area that has a cash buyers list of any size. And we're going to trade all those lists. I'm going to scrub them and get all the duplicates out and send you a much bigger list. How many cash buyers do you have on your list? Oh, 2,000. Fantastic. I'll mark you down for 2,000. I'll come back to you with more cash buyers. I'll talk to you in a couple days. And then I go person by person by person. And then I call up that first guy and go, okay, great. I've got this wholesaler, this wholesaler, this wholesaler. I've got this many total cash buyers from all those people. Can you email me your cash buyers list and I'll send you back the scrubbed list. And then you get all the cash buyers, you scrub it all and send it back. That's how I got my 6,000 people in a few weeks. And the cool part is I had my team do that for me, but I originally did that myself here in Utah. I have about 3,000 cash buyers here in Utah. And I started by like doing, looking up on listsource.com, like people that buy properties with 100% equity quickly. I was going to like the auctions, the county courthouse auction steps. I was hustling whatever I had to do, but you need a bigger cash buyers list. I mean, you should, like, if you have like 50 cash buyers, like you need to step that up. If I was a betting man, your cash buyers list isn't big enough. So that's what we do. I mean, we move a lot. We can move anything.
Nice. Yeah, I do know we have a fair number of people who will use whenever they're in DealMachine, if they're finding things that are corporate owned, and especially if they're like 100% free and clear corporate owned, that's a really good indicator they could be a cash buyer for you too. So, use DealMachine as a networking tool on the cash buyer side too.
Yep.
All right.
All right. It's 8:00. So thank you, Zack.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Also, gotta give you like props. Your background is just on point. I watched some of your videos of putting it together. So nice job.
Cool.
And thank you for sharing your stories today too, because those were really inspiring.
Oh, no worries. Yeah. I know that, it's pretty easy to lose faith. But when you hear stories of success like that, like, why would you ever give up? And remember, my mission is to give people permission and to go for your dreams, that's what I want it to be. So when I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I was 17 years old, and I didn't come for money. And my dad and mom, they wouldn't even sign a license. Like, I couldn't get an LLC and get insured to get the bigger contracts that I was going for. And I was a little discouraged and frustrated. I called my uncle, who's the only entrepreneur in my family, does okay. And, I was like, what business could I start? He's like, window washing. You could do that. And he's like, I did it when I was younger. This is kind of how you do it. So I called up a window washer in the phone book and had him bid my parents' house, figured out how to bid. And then I went to work, right? On my 18th birthday, I got my business license, and that journey of being an entrepreneur, going door to door and having that experience changed my life. But you know what? If I wouldn't have had that uncle, if I wouldn't have had that person that gave me permission, that told me a story of success, that gave me permission to try, I wouldn't have been successful. And so these stories of success are I tell you guys these things because I want you to understand what the potential is. I want you guys to believe in it and believe in yourself.
Oh, I love that. I just want that last clip to play every morning when I say I want Zack Boothe saying, just believe in yourself to me. I really appreciate you being on. And Matt, also thank you for hosting. Beautiful. And I just wanted to also have Zack say where the good people can follow. And I've already posted the D4D Mastery link about 3 times, guys, 4 or 5, I'm not quite sure, but please follow it. But Zack, go ahead and plug away so that the people can know what you're up to.
Yeah. So my website is dfdmastery.com. Okay. In that website, there's links to book a call if you want to apply to become a student. Like I said, I don't take everybody. And if you book the call, make sure you show up to the call, because you only get one chance. The other thing is if you want to follow me on social media, there's a ton of free content. There's a link that says social media on my website, so you can follow me there. TikTok's not quite uploaded. It's blowing up though. I started like 2 weeks ago, and I've got like one video is like 70,000 views. It's crazy. Yeah, it's blowing up. And so you can follow me on TikTok. I think my handle's like Zack Boothe if you do TikTok. And then we're starting a podcast. Yay! I'm so excited. Yeah, we're really excited. I found someone that I believe in and believe will just crush it and help me help people and inspire people. So we're starting that here in about 2 to 3 weeks. We'll start uploading. So continue to follow me on my Facebook and Instagram, and y'all can there's just a ton of free content, or you can become a student. Regardless, I want to help you and bless your lives.
Thank you so much, Zack. And this is the time where we do the demo for DealMachine. So you guys are free to go or stick around, whichever, but we hope you have a wonderful evening. And Zack, we of course will stay in touch. And it was so nice to actually talk to you, because I've only seen you.
Right. And then I see your guys' faces in the emails and things like that too. It's like, I recognize that face.
It's so crazy, because when I started, you literally just met David and Josh, and I just started hearing about you, and you've just blown up in such an amazing way. So wish you all the best.
Well, and I was talking to a student about that today, like the success, the apparent explosive success. And it's like, people don't see the late hours talking to students and the early mornings and just putting out just incredible amounts of content and value-driven content and helping people. Like, I wouldn't have that platform if I wasn't adding value. So it's been a huge blessing. I feel so fulfilled. I feel so blessed. Like, it's just amazing. So thank you for being a part of that, guys. It's really awesome.
Oh, we're so happy to be. Thank you, guys. And thank you all who are joining. Like I said, we're about to start our demo. So let me get that pulled up. Don't forget to follow Zack on everything.
Thanks again, Zack.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thanks, Zack.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to run. I got a call with a student actually.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. See ya.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Matt. Oh, bye. Sorry. All right, guys, we're going to do a demo of DealMachine. We got some great feedback last week about doing this and really going through everything and then answering questions, because I get off on a tangent if I lose my train of thought if I start answering questions. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to start going through DealMachine. You can go ahead and answer questions ask questions, and Hannah will let me know about them at the end. If I'm looking over here, it's because I'm looking at my other screen because I want to make sure I have it all. But how did everyone like the webinar? Was that not fantastic? I mean, I'm biased, but that was awesome.
Oh my goodness, his story, I had no idea. That was amazing. And just seeing how far he's come and the life that he's built. Yeah. Amazing is the only word I have for that.
I know. Okay. Do you see my screen okay?
Yep.
Okay. I don't see the chat anymore. I don't know what I did, but this always happens. So I'm just going to go through it. So guys, I'm going to break it down: CRM, Street Engine, List Engine. Like I said, drop your, we're going to get serious here. I'm pulling my hair back. So this is your dashboard. So those of you who are just starting with us on DealMachine, this is going to be your main dashboard. So this has a couple of great things to not look over. Some of you may have already seen this. You have your analytics down here to show you your total investment, your leads added, your mailers sent, your profit, your total investment. And you can do this by, month to date, year to date, custom. You also can filter it by who added the property, property tags, filter by campaign, mail templates. So this is a great way to keep track of your KPIs, keep track of what you're investing into DealMachine and what you're getting out of it. Then the other things are your success steps. So if you're just getting started with Street Engine, these are your success steps. I highly recommend. I know it's a lot of text, but going through and actually walking through each process. We set it up for you guys to have success with this. So I'd really look over that. The other two tabs, your activity tab is huge. This tells you every little thing that is going on with your account. So you can go in here and it says, I added 6 leads. I can click in there. I can see all those leads. I can see the information, what kind of deal status they are. I can look into more info for them. Then the last tab is my calendar tab. So this is brand spanking new. I think we just started showing it on the last webinar 2 weeks ago. But this is brand spanking new. This helps you budget. So basically, and I haven't sent out mailers in a while, but if I click on a time when I sent out mailers, shows I sent out 135. If I had this on repeat, it would show me how much I was estimated to spend for this campaign. And then it tells me like total mailers scheduled. I can actually see then where the mail is, when it was delivered. If you have our mail tracking add-on, it'll tell you down to like when it was actually delivered. They scan it so that you know if it's in the area, things like that. So I can see, I know this is my first round of postcards. I know this is my second round. So I can go through this and even go into the leads that way. So the calendar is really great. You can even select a range of days. So it shows that I had 150 mailers go out between this time, tells me again which ones they were. And then I can also just view my current month. So this is a great tool to keep track of. This is, like I said, in your CRM, as well as if you have the Street Engine and List Engine. This is part of the CRM. And then don't miss out. We don't have it right here yet, but we will have our next webinar posted there so you guys can go ahead and register for the next time. So going into more of the CRM, I'm going to skip over the map because the map is more used for Street Engine. So I'm going to go into the leads list because that's where we utilize more of the CRM functions. And don't mind it loading. I have about 20,000 leads in here between testing List Engine and putting my own driving for dollars leads in here. But this is where you can import lists. I know Delaney had talked about how she had written down and had in a spreadsheet a bunch of properties. If you have a list that's outside of DealMachine, you can go ahead and import it through this button right here, and then you can do map, mapping everything. You don't have to have it in a specific format. All you need to make sure it's uploaded into DealMachine correctly is the full street address, the city, the state, the zip. And then the rest of it we will pull. You can also now import any phone numbers or email addresses that you may have that will also import into the system. So this is where you can keep track of everything. You can also look up a lead. So say Joe Schmo calls me, and I have this thing where if a seller calls me and I don't know the number offhand, I'll answer and I'll say, hey, hello, this is Elise. And then they'll say, hey, you sent me a postcard, or hey, this is Joe Schmo. And I say, oh, you know what? I'm just coming out of a meeting. Do you mind holding on for just 1 second? Who is this again? And then they say their name. I look up their name in my system. I say, oh, thank you for waiting. And then I have their whole thing pulled up. So I know what house it is, how many times I mailed them, what postcard are they referencing, things like that. Going into this, you can click on an individual lead. It'll tell you all the basic owner information. You can skip trace the owner in here, see what mail preview you have here for what's going to be going out. And then also tells you the basic information that we pull. There is the county link in there as well, where we pull our data from. And then you can add it to a list, or you can tag it. Tags are generally used on the field when you are tagging because of overgrown grass, distress, like extra distress. You can have like priorities, like this is a priority 1, priority 2, so on and so forth. I would do no more than 3 priorities, or else it gets really crazy. And then you can also, if you are using us for like cold calling and stuff like that, I make a tag to follow up on certain days. So that way when I get to like Tuesday, or maybe I get to Wednesday, or maybe I get to a specific date, I can filter it by that tag, and all of those leads are going to be coming up for that specific task that I need to do. I also sort them into lists, and we'll get more into lists when I get into the list engine, because list engine is for building lists, but you can also edit and also manage your lists out of the lists tab without having list engine. But lists are really great, especially if you're in a specific area. Like I have some that are for, you know, absentee owners, owner occupied in certain markets. So I make a list based on that criteria. So it's easier for me to pull up. Or another thing is making presets, which I'm going to take a swig of water really quick because my throat is really dry right now after talking for a little bit. So give me 1 second. Okay. So you can filter leads. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, sorry, I'm not bouncing back and forth, but if you want the pictures to be bigger, there is a toggle here that you can make the pictures bigger. There is the filter leads, which is huge. It's a really, really nice way to filter through and get the qualified properties that you want to be seeing. So where it says hide show presets, I would drop that down and create presets for what you consider qualified properties. So that is, you know, I have an absentee NDPA, which means absentee Indianapolis pending approval, which means I haven't sent mail out with them. They are in Indianapolis, and how I did that was, I can click that and I'll show you. So that means I did this through absentee owner, sold over 10 years ago. And then I also went down here and I made sure that the property address was in Indianapolis. So right here, you can also see where you can turn on different things for deal finders. Your presets are made for your map and for your list, or leads list. So, I mean, this makes it so easy to where when, kind of like what Zach was saying, he has 3 different types of campaigns. I do as well. And what you do then is you can just click on this. I see all of these. I can do a bulk edit to where I select all of these. And I can go ahead and change the mailing options to going to that specific campaign, click start mailers, and then that's all done. And then I can just go to my next preset and select all, get them to that certain mailer that I want, send mail, and then go on. Instead of having to go through custom filters each time and picking what I need, I can just go ahead, set that preset, and move forward. That is the basic meat and potatoes of the CRM. Are there any CRM specific questions right now, Hannah?
None yet, but I actually just sent out a question to everyone to ask their questions. So if you have CRM questions from what Elise just showed you, please let us know, and we'll answer them. But so far, no. So
All right.
I'd say let's keep going.
Okay. We're going to go into the driving, your street engine. So I'm going to go back to map because you do get the mobile map with street engine because it is your guide. Here are my driving routes, and here kind of what Zach was saying, when they turn yellow, that means 6 months has passed of you driving those routes. So you need to redrive them. So you can see that I started redriving this right here. So a couple of things to add a property, what you need to do, these are all added because they have houses. They would have a dark, hold on, let me just show you. I'm gonna go to an area. Maybe. Oops, I added the wrong one. Okay, so here is an area that I have not added yet. And so all of these are going to have little dots on them. So to add a property when I'm on the mobile, all I have to do is select it and then press add lead, or I can change it to tap to add mode. And the difference is when I choose tap to add mode, I can just click on the property and it's automatically added into my system. You can see all the owner information on here as well. You'll see the mailer preview, everything that you would see in the CRM leads list, you'll see here. Another thing is highlights. So I was talking earlier about how you can do presets for highlights. So if I just wanted to find, this is my deal finder map. You can make a highlight preset for your deal finders to see so that when they open their map, they see all the highlighted properties they should be adding if it is showing signs of distress. So for that, I go in and I've already selected, it has to be sold over 3 years. And then I turned it on to say use preset for deal finders. So then when I turn that on, which my drop bar over here, okay, apply preset. So then it'll highlight all the properties, and this is all the properties that sold, they've been sold 3 years. Am I saying that right? Yes. And so I am in not a great residential area in this map right now. There's big lots of lands, but it'll show me that. So you see this one's empty. So this was recently sold. But I always tell my drivers, like, green is good. It will not, I just posted a video about this specifically for your deal finders. It will not let them add a property that's highlighted. So if they can still add properties even if it's not highlighted, but I would tell them, you know, it needs to be highlighted. They'll know then the areas. I saw someone was asking earlier about how do you tell your drivers where to drive? This is a great way to do it, to where it's saying, hey, if it's a green area, go towards that. If there's a lot of green in it, go over there, because that means that there's a lot more qualified properties that you're looking for, and then they can look to see if they're distressed. Couple of things with the map too. If you click the threefold map, this is where you can change the property label on there. When you're driving for dollars mobile, to actually drive for dollars with DealMachine Street Engine, you would click this arrow up here. It would lock into your location. There's a start driving button down here. And then there would be a little dashboard at the top that would say, you know, you started driving. It'll tell you how many minutes you've been driving, how far, how many properties you've added, and it'll track your drive. Now you only get the live route tracking where it shows the line on professional and enterprise level. But even on basic, track your routes, because then you can also use that as a tax deduction come time for tax season for your mileage. So you can at least track that, and you can still know where you've driven. Going into the driving tab itself, this is where you can see your miles driven, how long you've driven. And then it shows you little snapshots here of your routes and your team's routes. So this is a great place to track where your drivers have been, how long they've driven, and then you can figure out, well, how many properties properties did they add per hour that they said they drove. I know in David's video, he talked about in the meeting that he has with his drivers, he asks them first how many hours they've driven, and then he checks that with the system to make sure that that correlates. So that's something that you can do as well. And then the second part of the driving tab is your drivers themselves. You can recruit drivers or invite by email. Recruit drivers is enterprise only. It is a landing page that you customize. I think Zach talks about it. I know he uses it for his drivers. But it comes with a landing page that you can customize to say whatever you would like. Training videos that we do have defaults in there. You can change them out. And it actually trains them to what you want them to know, how they're getting paid, how to add properties. It's a whole onboarding system that you get, that they just go through. They sign up and they start going through this funnel. And then it actually sends an automatic welcome email that, again, you can customize to send out to them once they finish signing up for you. And this is one of the places that you can look to see what permissions your team members have. So I can choose them as a partner or admin if I'm professional or enterprise. You get deal finders, and then you can show the access to what they have access to, whether that's a CRM, street engine, or list engine. So James right here does not have access to my list engine, but he does have access to my street engine. So tons of, I know this is a ton of information, but just to kind of go over all the kit and caboodle, but I want you guys to know we do have YouTube videos on this, on everything. And if we don't, we want to know so that we can make those for you. Okay, I'm going to take another drink of water if, Hannah, if there's anything.
There are. We have about 3 questions for you to answer right now. The first is from Charles. He said, can you please explain more about leads and lists beta and how that integrates? And does it stack if you already have, if you have already driven a certain area that you have already driven?
Yes. So let me know if I answer this right, but if you pull, so say you have driving for dollars leads, but you have a list that you want to upload, it will stack them and update any information that you may have brought in, but it will not duplicate the properties. No one, even your drivers, it will make it so they can't add the property again. It will not duplicate the property for you. Again, even if you pull lists from DealMachine, like in that list, it'll be there, but it won't show up twice in your master list of leads that you have.
Yes. And I think also, Charles, we're going to get into the list engine, and I think that will really clear up the difference between the leads and the lists. And then this is from Sunny. They asked, is there a way to know if a property is listed?
In like the MLS, we don't have that information just because MLS, we haven't cracked how to do that yet because it's only available to real estate licensed agents. So we haven't figured that out yet, but if we won't show that it's been sold, but if it doesn't match, so say, I'm trying to figure out how to say this correctly. We do have data to where if it's sold recently, we haven't come up with the push notification yet for you guys to know that just yet because we just started getting this data. But say you have a list, and like Hannah said, I'll talk about this more in the list engine, but say you have a list that says, I need it sold within, or sold over 3 years ago, but it just sold. It will, if you enable for smart lists, which we'll go over, it will take it out of that list. Because if it just sold and we got that information from it, listings we don't actually get, but for sale, if it is sold, we will update that information in there. We just don't have a notification for you guys yet.
Yeah. Oh, and then one more from Alex J. He said, can I export my whole list of leads and not just the current page view?
Yes, you can. So how you do that, great question, is you go to the leads list, you clear all your filters, which I want to make sure I don't have any. So then you select this box right here, and then it will say it's 27 selected from that first page, but then you see over here it says select all 19,959 leads. You would click that, and then go to more and export leads. And that's how you would export your whole list. Just make sure that the filters are clear so that way you get all of them.
And then while you're on this view, Juan asked, when I export a list for my mass text and voice call, how do I filter the list in a way that only the owner name, address, and phone is on the list? Can you do that?
So wanting to import that list into DealMachine?
Exporting his DealMachine list so that only the owner name, address, and phone are on the list.
So you would have to manually do that after you export it. And you can just delete those columns when they come out. So that it shouldn't be you can press shift, select the top columns and drag it over and delete those columns. So that way you only keep the columns that you want to import to your texting system.
Yep. All right, that's it.
Okay. All right, list engine. Let's keep moving. List engine. So this is where all your lists are. So these are my organic ones. So I told you that I have like any indie owner occupied, indie absentee. Also, if you do bulk skip tracing or if you have a bulk import, it will be shown here as well. And then we do have the ones where you actually build them, which to build a list, you press on the button. You can look it up by zip code, city. You can draw over just a neighborhood that you're looking into. I'm going to just go ahead and select one. You can do a quick list. So vacant, owners of multiple properties, behind on taxes, pre-foreclosures, foreclosures, bank owned, absentee owners. You can do from your presets or you can do from custom lists. So say I just want to do, I'll just click all properties. Your estimated lead count will be right down here. And I'm sure there's a lot. Yeah, 9,000 leads are estimated to generate from the parameters. And then I can go ahead and I would highly recommend just editing this to say what you would like it to say to be more specific. And then turning on smart lists. So like I was talking earlier, smart lists is every week we get pushed new data to update about the properties and their statuses. And so anything that does not fit the criteria in that list, turning on this smart list will make it so that it will add anything that is now matching the criteria of your list and take out anything that is not. So you don't have to keep going through and filtering and checking up on all those leads. This makes it so it's automatically refreshed and ready to go, and everything that you have in it is what you want. And then you can sync your marketing to the smart list. I would just double check to make sure that it's the marketing that you would like. And then you just press submit and it will build your list. And then you can go into it and it will show you that I have 12 in here. You can go to the breakdown, which you can do this on any of your lists. And I highly recommend this for your KPIs because it shows you like, how many are unqualified, how many are, having mail go out, how many have you had calls from, how many do you need to follow up with. This is just a really great snapshot and also just helps you if you're doing it by neighborhoods or if you have different markets, you can see how their performance is different. That's basically list engine. Any questions on that, Han?
I'm just gonna say KPI, Steve, that's key performance indicators. Yeah. I do have a question. Hold on. Okay, so Alex said, I believe right now you only have one postcard template for leads that don't have property pictures. Are you going to have more templates for such properties?
Great question. Moving on down to mailers. Actually, exciting news, Alex. I know we only have the one, but now with the templates, and what I would recommend is that you can actually use our like blocks template and you can add your own default picture in here to go where the actual picture of the property would be. So you can actually do this to any of our templates now. So that way all of them can qualify for ones that don't have property pictures to go with. So you can, and I highly recommend this, you could put like your logo here and your headshot here, or your headshot here and your logo here. Or your, you know what I mean. So you can do that instead of just using that really boring one that doesn't have a picture on it. I honestly don't care for that one. So this is what I would recommend. And again, you can just go in and down at the bottom, it says template image, and you can go through there. Great question.
Awesome. Sunny asked, can you import a tag from an external list into DealMachine?
No, not yet.
Yeah. And then also, this is maybe a little off topic, but let me scroll up. I accidentally skipped a question and I want to go back to it. Eduardo asked, the window that pops up when using the tap feature is distracting. Can he choose not to see it so he can tap properties faster?
No. I'm sorry, Eduardo. I know that it does take up a lot of the screen. You can, we can make sure that that's heard, especially through the feature suggestion with the request feature in the app. I totally get it. We can't though, that's unfortunate, but you can tap out of it when it comes up. There's a little X that you can just tap out of it. So maybe just a 2 tap to go through it and then go back to tapping.
Yeah, but I would say if you ever come across anything like that, definitely put it in the feature request area in your app, because if you've thought it, probably someone else has thought it too. And when you put something in there, people can vote on certain things that they want to get done. And actually the calendar was one of those feature requests. So we hear you, and we definitely want to make it the best experience for you. You're welcome. Okay, that's all the questions. You can keep going.
All right, cool. Well, we're in templates. I love that Alex got us here because that's where we were headed. So templates, this is for your marketing. So you can do this whether you have just the CRM, if you have Street Engine, if you have List Engine, you have access to doing the mail marketing through DealMachine. And you can do repeat mail. It does not have to be through campaigns. Repeat mail through us, you can do the same postcard over and over. Campaigns, the difference is that you can actually make a sequence of different templates that are going out at a sequence that you custom make. So I have different ones here where it's like absentee, corporate, indie 1. I label them 1, 2, 3, 4 because it's way easier when I put them into campaigns to put them in order. I have a buyer's postcard. This is for building a buyer's list, which I linked the video to that in the chat, but this is a way where if you go across a corporate-owned property that just sold, like within the last year, send them a buyer's postcard or skip trace them and call them and say, hey, do you want more houses like this in the area? I'm an investor, and I'd love to contact you if I find any more leads in this area. So it's just another great way to market and use all the leads that you're building. I mean, you guys spend so much time to add these leads in driving for dollars. Use them all. And whether that be for getting a deal or when you get a deal, using it to get your buyer. So I would highly recommend when doing templates, changing the color. I personally love the blocks template. That is my all-time favorite. But I do love, like, this is the full, this has a giant picture of the house in the front. Test the colors out. Another thing, and I'll get to this when we get to signatures, make sure your head is not chopped off in the formatting of the postcard. It is different for every postcard. So go in, click preview, make sure your head's not chopped off, or your loved ones. I had a gentleman whose wife's head was like partially chopped off. It just doesn't look professional. And go in and really customize these. You can say, like I say, I'm a local investor in Indy, and I'm looking to help people in my community lift any financial burdens when it comes to real estate. So, have your message out there, just brand yourself. So you can create as many templates as you want. This is that ugly one with no picture of the house that Alex was saying. It's not cute. But it does work. I've had people say that they get referenced off of it. And then going into campaigns, This is the $20 add-on to do a sequential mail campaign, which means that I have like step one template, step two, a different template. Again, you can, like I showed you in that bulk editing and changing mailing options, you can do repeat mail with the same postcard. You don't have to have campaigns, and you can set up how many times it goes out. So this one sends after 30 days. This one sends after 30 days. Basically, I have all of them sending after 30 days. And then I have the last one repeating twice, because my last one says, you know, I've been mailing you for a while. You know, even if you're not ready to sell today, I'd love to talk to you about maybe if you are interested in the future, things like that. And then signatures is the last thing with mailers. And if you're on basic or professional, you get one signature. And that is where you put in your logo or your picture. I'll tell you right now, make sure you put whether it's a logo or picture in this, because the formatting is different when it's uploaded. So make sure you do that. Again, it's gonna look fine here, but double check in your template that no heads being chopped off, or like your logos being chopped off. That would not be good. You're paying good money for these postcards. We want them to look fantastic. And then you would just put any change of address, your return address. Somebody asked earlier if PO boxes were okay. They definitely are. And they're pretty, we have a video on how to set them up. David went and did that, so you can check that out as well. Any questions on the mailer section, Hannah?
Yes, we have two.
Excellent.
All right, I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. Please don't hate me. Antonor asked, can you upload your own designed template?
You cannot yet. We only have our set number of templates because it's just really difficult to, there's so many different ways to format. So we have our 9 templates now that you can choose from.
Great. Charles, thank you for all the questions. He just asked, what is the cost per mailer in professional, and is there a discount for bulk, aka like 9K leads versus 100 leads?
We do not have bulk pricing. That's a great question, but on professional, it is 55 cents a postcard. The discount you get, the lowest discount we have is 49 cents on the enterprise plan. Mm-hmm. But on basic and professional, it's 55.
And I just want to also add that, Charles, we don't have discounts for bulk because we also don't have discount where we don't charge a ton more for people who are sending out like 2 mailers. So that just like we allow you to just send out what you want to send out, and not that you like have to hit this threshold.
Right. And that's what a lot of mail houses make you do to get that discounted price. So we wanted to, Hannah, that was beautifully said.
Yeah. All right. That is all the questions in that area.
Okay. Well, guys, we're almost at the end here. The other things are very simple. Team, again, this is for you can see who has access to your CRM, your street engine, your list engine. And then also you can invite people. So say you have a VA, if you have someone that's admin, an assistant, you can put them on here, give them access to what you want them to. So like I said, James is a partner. He can see team members. He cannot spend my money, except for skip tracing apparently. And then I can change his access to be just street engine, not list engine. So this is where you manage all your team. And then going into get free leads, you have your own personal promo code here where you get $5, and the person that signs up with your promo code gets $5. Don't forget about that. And then also the settings. So this is where you get your billing. This is where you can see add-ons that you can add. So we have a couple of those, which is, like I said, the campaigns add-on. We have the mail tracking that I talked about earlier. You have your default mailing option, so you can have it to where all of them go on the same postcard. You don't ever have to switch them off of it. And you can do that with a template or a campaign and have them be default. And then there's also a bunch of fun add-ons that are little things like dark mode. I personally enjoy because I'm on a computer a lot, and it's very nice for my eyeballs to get a break. Another wonderful thing that people may not realize is that when you log into DealMachine, it does default to the dashboard. And me personally, I open up my DealMachine really quickly sometimes if I see a property, but I don't want it opening to the dashboard. So you can actually go here and it says open page on app start, and you can do it to where it goes straight to the map when you open the app. Straight to the map when you open the app. And that is, and the most important thing, we have help and support here from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 days a week. They are always here to help you. And they answer within 5 minutes. We love them. They're family. So that's all I got for you guys. Are you muted? Or
I was muted. I said,
okay, I was like, something happened.
No, sorry. I didn't want people to hear my keyboard typing, answering questions. But yeah, we actually have 2 more questions just to answer really quick. So Sunny, again, is asking about checking if a property is listed before sending a mail or skip tracing. Can you just show how, I know you showed in the list portion how to put something on a smart list, but can you show us one more time?
For list builder. So smart list is only for list builder.
For list engine.
List engine, sorry, list engine, not list builder.
Yeah.
So list engine, you would go to list and then you would build your list, or you can go into one that you've built and just toggle on this smart list for it.
And so that will, Sunny, that will show you like each week it's updated. So if a property has been sold within that week, it will be taken off your list because it won't meet the criteria that you set your list to, if that's what you set your list to. And then Alex, all right, hard one for you. Currently, only a very small percentage of my leads have equity info available. Are we taking steps to improve that?
Yes. I will be honest, I don't know what those steps entail, but I will tell you that I hear you, Alex. I know that we don't have a whole lot on equity. It's some of them, I did a search the other day and there wasn't a whole lot. We are in talks with our data providers. So I want you to know that. I just don't know I honestly don't know what the status of that is and what further actions are being taken, but I do know that it is known. So I appreciate you asking the hard questions. And I'm sorry that I don't have a better answer for it.
Yeah. All right. I think that's all the questions. So we will give 1 more minute if you have any last minute lingering things on your mind. But I just want to let you guys all know that we are on all the different social medias out there. So if you want more great content, just follow us at DealMachine app on Instagram. You can search Facebook for DealMachine, join our community group. And you can find the community group by just going to our DealMachine Facebook page and then looking at groups and then joining the community group. Gosh, what else? YouTube, definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have so many great videos coming out. Elise, Ty, they are killing it on that front. So go for it there. What am I missing?
Twitter, check us on the tweets. We try to have fun, guys, and we try to give you really good content, but also want to have fun in this as well. So just talk to us, interact with us. We got a lot of comments on something the other day and I love talking to you guys. So also I have lives every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So tomorrow I always am there for answering questions live, showing you guys live demos, bringing people on. So, please, show up and let's have some fun. That's about it. But I just want to thank you guys so much on a Thursday night being here with us, because we really appreciate each and every one of you and are here to help you guys. So yeah.
Yes, we are so happy that you could be here with us. And I actually have one question to answer just before we hop off. Ryan asked, did we come up with the app? No.
No. But if it makes, see, one thing though, and this is, David did come up with the app as a real estate investor. He's a developer. So it's kind of nice because like he knew what he wanted and he built it. And so, no, we did not come up with the app, but we're very passionate about it.
Yes. Yeah. So, if you have any questions, let us know. Also reach out to Elise and I if you just have any other questions. And we are so thankful for all of you, and happy deal finding.